My guest is Judy Fyfe, Executive Director of St. Vincent de Paul. So good to see you.
Good to be here.
Thanks for coming in to tell us
Absolutely.
all about what's going on with the big building. It's
Yes.
got to be coming along.
It is coming along. Anyone who's driven by will see that the structure's up, and it's tarped in orange right now. So it won't stay that way, I promise. It'll be much prettier when it's done. But we're getting to move forward, getting the flooring in, and then eventually we'll be able to get the exterior clad and then work on the interior. And we're looking at a July move to the new facility. So
it's not that far away.
It's not far away, and we're just hoping everything lines up and it's a smooth last quarter run.
Oh my goodness, I'll say. So financially, you're still looking for money?
We are. Of course, some of the delays had pushed us into a build in the winter, which you don't realize at the top of that project, some of these things that are going to happen. And of course, it costs more to build in the winter. There's things like tarping that have to take place and providing a heat source. So it's made it more difficult. It's also made it more expensive. So anyone interested in being part of this project, we would warmly welcome the HAP to just close that final gap.
And it wouldn't hurt to just take a drive by and see if there is something actually there.
Absolutely. I think it's an interesting build. It's we're working with Lodestar, Anchor Concrete, and this is not a lot of buildings built like this yet. But I think this will be the start of a great opportunity for a lot of other places that are considering a build.
Well, and that's the other thing, is it becomes like a, what's the word, not flagship exactly, but it's something that other people say, we're considering this, can we take a look around?
Exactly,
Exactly.
And I love that it's a local company. I mean, this has always been about Kingston helping Kingston, so this feels really good.
Yeah, especially these days when we want to buy local, stay local, and
absolutely.
Hey, yeah, for sure,
absolutely.
For sure. You do amazing things with the little tiny bit of space you've got right now, squeezed in between a couple of apartment buildings, and it is really quite amazing what you do. So what will change when you go to this? Well, you're increasing your space, what, 5 times? 6?
Absolutely. We'll have a dining room that can seat 120 people.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so we've been doing takeout since COVID, but prior to COVID, we had dining space for 45. So we're certainly increasing the space where people can come in, relax, share community, break bread together. We're really looking forward to that happening. Since our numbers became so high after COVID or during COVID, we've never gone back to in-house dining. It's just not feasible. But having the new space will allow us to go back to the way we used to do things, which was to sit with family, if you will.
Yeah, like eating is a social thing as well as a necessary thing.
Absolutely.
And I'll admit, I eat most of my meals in front of a television, in front of my computer. And I love having people over so I can, at least you have conversation and you make more of an effort and all the rest. It's so important, the fellowship.
Absolutely. And, poverty can be a very lonely place to live. Yeah. You don't necessarily have the funds to go out for lunch with your friends. Right. Even to have people over for food might be difficult if you don't really have the groceries to barely feed yourself.
Even meeting for coffee could be a budgeting, something you need to budget when you're living that close to.
Absolutely. And so we're kind of hoping it'll be 2 birds with 1 stone. People can come and get a nutritious meal, but then also get their soul fed by community and a sense of belonging, which is really important.
But then there's other reasons for them to stick around as well.
Sure.
There's programs. You're going to be running programs.
Absolutely.
Tell me about some of those.
Sure. So we'll stick with what we offer in terms of our emergency food pantry. It will be called the Social Market, and it'll be a little different model of service delivery. We're hoping to have shopping carts where people can shop for the food that they want for their family. We think that's a beautiful model. The Salvation Army in Kingston does that. I know the Partners in Mission is also moving to that model. It's something that we really believe will help people to feel more normalized in terms of procuring their own food. And so we're really excited about that as well. And then, of course, we'll continue with our warehouse. So those donated clothing that people bring us will still be going out free of charge, as always, as well as other items. We're hoping to be able to enhance our furniture program We know many people who sometimes are new to Canada or just maybe newly housed after a stint of homelessness, or just have relocated in circumstances that didn't really allow them to bring much. And that could be a lot of different scenarios. If you don't have money for food or clothing, you probably don't have it for a bed or a couch or kitchen table.
That becomes a luxury item rather than a necessity, yeah.
And you know, it's important to have people live a dignified and somewhat comfortable life. If we want and hope for the best for folks to be able to maybe touch down in poverty, but to then move on out of it, being able to provide those basic essentials would be great.
Because I know people who said, you know, what they came from and where they were at one point in their lives.
Absolutely.
And you look at them and say, oh my goodness, that's amazing that you're now doing as well as you are and a contributing member of society. So it can happen. It is not a lifetime sentence.
Absolutely. And many of our donors have said, you know, there was a time I needed your services, and now I'm just so happy to be able to give back. Yeah. And what a wonderful story that is to tell. It gives people hope to know that just because this is where you are in the moment doesn't mean this is where you'll be tomorrow.
Exactly. Something that I have had thrown at me, and I never know quite how to answer them, but people that say people can take advantage of this, they can afford their own growth. They just, you know, want to just save a few bucks and take advantage of places like St. Vincent de Paul. How do you, is there a way that you make sure that doesn't happen? Is there any safeguard there?
I guess what I would say is the wisdom of the Sisters of Providence when they set up the programming at St. Vincent de Paul had no qualifying criteria. So in that way, everybody's welcome. We don't sit back and worry and ask the question, do you really need us? If you come to us, we help. That takes away that pressure to sift through to see who's really worthy. Because you know what, that's not how we do business. Okay. If you need help, come. It might not be that financially you need help. Maybe there's other things going on that brings you to our door. We'll turn no one away. Nobody leaves hungry. And I think honestly that approach, that, you know, lead with kindness, lead with compassion, that's how we do business.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned nobody leaves hungry, and you feed what, 600 people a day? Is that what something like that?
No, not that high.
Not quite, but
between 197 to 210.
Okay.
It bounces. We've had days of 276 recently, and we've had days as low as 160.
Okay, but still a lot, because I'm thinking
a lot of people.
You know, you have 3 or 4 kids, and you stand there in front of the refrigerator and say, "What am I going to make for dinner?" Well, you do that times 10 or 12, right?
Exactly.
So, and you don't know what food is coming in necessarily.
That makes it interesting. You know, we are so blessed. We have Gareth Hewitt in our kitchen. And not only is he just a fabulously cheerful, good-hearted soul, he works wonderfully with the volunteer team. He's our only staff that oversees that program. Everyone else is a volunteer. They're coming because they want to help. And so it's wonderful energy, but he's also a very gifted cook, and he's made some beautiful food for folks in need.
That's and one of the staples you brought along today. So get out your pencil and paper, because
here we go.
Here we go. Here is one of their favorites. Well, 2 of their favorite recipes.
Yes, we asked Gareth to provide a couple of recipes, and I kind of chuckled when I saw it because I didn't know what to expect. But he went for the favorite beans and wieners.
All right.
And so that's a large can of beans, a large package of hot dogs, 2 large onions, and 2 large peppers. Sauté the onions and peppers in olive oil until brown. Chop up the hot dogs and put them in the beans. Cook for 20 minutes until combined, and serve. And the reason this is one of our clients' most favorite.
Oh, and I think over a piece of toast, that would be really
Stick
good.
to your ribs, and on a whole day, that's a warm and comforting meal.
That sounds really good.
Yeah. And so also he makes soups all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. And so he did a cauliflower soup recipe. Would you like me to read that as well?
Sure, go right
ahead.
Okay.
1/4 cup of butter, 1 pound Spanish onion diced, 1 pound celery diced, 1 pound carrot diced, 8 pounds cauliflower chopped, 8 large vegetable stock, 4 pounds peeled and diced potatoes, 2 cloves of garlic diced, and 1 table of, oh, I never say this right, Worcestershire sauce.
That's good.
In a large pot, heat the butter, add the onions, celery, carrots, and saute for 5 minutes. Add the cauliflower and the vegetable stock. Bring to a boil, simmer, and cook for 80 minutes. And there you go.
Smell heavenly on top of it.
Smell heavenly, and it uses up a lot of vegetables and
That's
gets
right.
it into people's diet in a way that's
Exactly.
tasty and that they really enjoy.
Right, and it's economical for the most part.
Absolutely.
Yep, and it's local stuff. For the most of the stuff is stuff you can
yeah.
access. Yeah, that's grown locally.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to try that one. That really sounds good.
There you go.
So if somebody wants to donate to your building fund,
absolutely,
how
they can
reach you?
call us. And they can send an email to our site, and I think that's going to be up on the screen.
Yep.
Perfect. But then also you can go on Canada Helps and make a donation that way. Or you can pop in for a visit. We're always glad to see our supporters and our donors.
Sounds wonderful. Thanks so much for telling us about it.
Oh, no problem. Glad to be here.
Okay.